Well, there has been a lot of discussion regarding the possibility of forming coalitions at municipal level. However, it is expected that the 2024 general election will bring about a significant change. And as per the predictions, the ANC may receive less than 50% of the vote, which increases the possibility of coalition governments forming at the provincial as well as national level even. But what will this coalition government then look like? Well, senior researcher Mr. Joel Bregman from My Vote Counts joins us to weigh in on this discussion. Joel, a very good afternoon. So good to have you. So the new phenomenon of coalition governments here in South Africa came into popularity in our political landscape back in 2016 when the ANC lost control of some of those big municipalities. But we have, of course, seen how disruptive and unsuccessful they have been so far. So why is it that most coalitions fail, you think? And what do you think it would take for these coalitions to actually work?
Hi, great to talk today. So I think when we talk, about coalitions, it's important to put it in some longer context. Coalitions aren't that new in the South African political context. There has been an increase in the number of coalitions quite dramatically since 2016 and even more dramatically in 2021 in the local government elections. But they've been a common feature at the municipal level since the early 2000s. So it's not necessarily something new. We have become accustomed to, headlines of coalition dysfunction, instability, constantly changing of government as motions of no confidence usher in new governments. But I think we must be wary of making this clear association between coalitions and poor governance, poor service delivery, instability. First of all, there are more than 80 coalitions at the moment, municipal level. And last year, the South African Local Government Association, their analysis was that about 30 of them were dysfunctional, not operating well. But this means there's still 50 that are doing well, are providing services, are giving governance. So, I think it's because they're often in the metros, in Joburg, as you mentioned, where we see some of these things really falling apart. And it's hard to deny that the fact that there have been coalitions there has added to the dynamics. But I think we must be careful about making this clear association between coalitions and instability.
So, Joel, then talk to us about the foundation of a good coalition. Should it be based purely on populism or shared principles as well as values? I ask this question as, of course, the campaign trail is heating up across the country, that why have we not seen all these parties that we know have come out in public to say that should the need arise after the elections, they will be going into either a moonshot pact or an alliance of some sort, campaigning under the same umbrella to communicate that message that, look, we do share those same principles as well as policies, so that, the voters can take into account that these people really do have the voters' interests at heart.
You make such a good point. So one of the reasons that we think coalitions haven't always worked as well as they could have is because they are cobbled together, not necessarily by parties who have a joint vision or shared mission or an ethos of how they're going to go about things, but purely to get into power. Coalition politics, unfortunately, has become transactional to some degree, where parties see it, as a way to have access to the state, to get into power, to get resources. And this is not a good foundation for any coalition, right? As you've mentioned, it really should be premised on some joint and shared vision of how you're going to be doing things. And what we're actually going to be doing in the next few days is writing to all political parties who are contesting provincially and nationally and asking them to come forward, make it public. Have they entered into any coalitions with any partners, and on what terms? We want to see these coalition agreements if they exist, like the multi-party charter has issued, and should be commended for that.